Muni Maha Muniye Swaha. Om Muni Muni Maha Muniye Swaha. Om Muni Muni Maha Muniye Swaha. Om Muni Muni Maha Muniye Swaha. Let us make 3 prostrations to the triple jewels together. Good morning, Venerables, brothers and sisters. Please be seated. Please be seated. Let us place our palms together now to request Geshe to turn the wheel of Dharma according to the well wishes and capacities of the students. Geshe, we humbly request you to turn the wheel of Dharma. Thank you.
Let us turn to page number 4. Refuge in Bodhisattva. Sanje juda zoge jonam lo janju badu dane yabzu je dage jinso gebes Nola benjir sanje dubare jo sanje juda zoge jonam lo janju badu dane yabzu dage jinso gebes Nola benjir sanje dubare jo sanje juda zoge jonam janju badu dane yabzu je dage jinso gebes onam I go for refuge and turn enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations through practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and turn enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations through practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and turn enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Next page, Essence of Dependent Origin Mantra. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham datha gato yevatat Desham chayo nirodha evam bhati mahashramanaye svaha Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham datha gato yevatat Desham chayo nirodha evam bhati mahashramanaye svaha Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham datha gato yevatat Desham chayo nirodha evam bhati mahashramanaye svaha All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation causes as well as taught by the Great Seer. Hearts of the mantra. Yatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisattva Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisattva Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisattva Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisattva. Okay, let us read the three principal aspects of the path. Or today we'll read the page number 59, Noble Mind is, page 61. Is it well Russian? The Noble Mind Sutra, Dependent Arising. Good. Okay. This what we are reading here. This is again another very important aspect of the true teachings of the Buddha. What the Buddha actually teaches. So what we see here is that it was in the 33 the heavens. There is a particular name of that particular the heaven, the 33 heavens, and the Buddha was there, and the kings of the god and goddesses were all there. Then Avalokiteshvara, he stood up, made prostrations to the Buddha, and then informed this Buddha that all the god and goddesses, they came all the way to make prostrations, make the supplication to you, and they want to know how to accumulate the enormous merit, which is technically referred to as the merit of the Brahmas. Brahmas meaning a realm, in the formed realm, where one requires, of course, samadhi, meditative concentration, plus enormous of merit. And so how to accumulate such a merit, enormous of merit? Then the Buddha taught this essence of dependent origin mantra, which we used to recite every morning. Buddha taught this, and then Buddha also taught how to build a stupa. And stupa here, we get a feeling the stupa means something very big, huge structure, not necessary. So there, sometimes we get a wrong feeling. Particularly, I would say that people from the West, you may get a feeling that at times, even with Buddhism, which otherwise the teaching of compassion, you may get a feeling that where you have money, you can have Buddhism. Where you don't have money, you can't even go to the centers. At times this, seems to happen sometimes. It's very unfortunate. This is not the reality. So the point is that if there are some places which do not entertain you for the reason that you don't have the financial, the support, whatever, no need to go there. And then also there are some places which restrict the females, the girls from going to the places, temples, even in Buddhist places. So where I talked about the equality one time, and there was one girl who said that, but in my village there's a monastery there where the girls are not allowed to go. I said, why should you go? Don't go. Say even 10 rupees, don't give it to the monastery. Go to the place where they allow, right? And then they will not get the support from you, right? And then you can go to the temples where the Buddha image. And Buddha is the boss of all the deities, right? Even the deity who restrict you from coming, he is the junior, he is the subordinate of the Buddha. When the Buddha is there, everybody is there, don't worry, right? So this is all backward thinking, where, the discrimination is made. This is all backward. In fact, there's the religious group, I'm not going to mention the name, there's one religious group there, and when I went to it's non-Buddhist religious group, when they paid respect and listened to the doctrines, the teachings, it's amazing, equality and so forth. And finally, I went into the photograph exhibition, photo exhibitions. And there was one photo there. There is a photograph of about 160 people, the members on the international level of that group. And all are males. I said that I couldn't understand. And the one who is explaining to me about this religion was a lady. And she was saying that our religion there's so much equality. The founder actually, they said, propounded the equality as the foundation and so forth. And finally I said, what is this? Where is the females? Is it accidental that all the people happen to be males, or it is a rule that it should be all male? And she said, it's a rule. Then where is the equality? This is wrong. This is wrong. And from my point of view, I would say that the founder of that religion, if he's alive today, he will abolish this rule. This rule is not created by this founder. This was created later. So what I'm saying is that these are the things that can happen. So at times we can have misconceptions, even within Buddhism, where the Buddha taught so much about equality, but in the temples, monasteries, finally the people, they are the followers. Followers mean they are not Buddhists themselves. So they are ordinary people. So they can create all these unnecessary, say, the divisions, discriminations, which are totally unnecessary and in fact against the Buddha's own teachings. So therefore, at times if you do get a feeling, or if you do meet with people who get a feeling that, okay, only with money I can go to center, without money I can go to center. If this is the situation, I would say that there are always places there. This does not represent Buddhism. So in fact, this is in a way, is wrong system. There must be provision for everyone. There must be provision for everyone, irrespective of the background of the person, whether the person has money, no money, power, no power. It doesn't matter. Everybody should have a place in Buddhism. This is so important. So therefore, look at this. So what I'm saying is not just what I'm saying. Look at the Buddha Shakyamuni, what he's teaching us. So he taught that stupas does not mean the elegant stupas. If you have the financial, say the facility there with you, of course, make the elegant stupas. Perfect was wrong. There's nothing wrong in it. But if you don't have the money, then I cannot have the stupa. No. So look at this, what the Buddha is teaching us. How just, set the stupa in the form of whatever, even a small tiny glass that you have, a small mug that you have, small container that you have. The container, after all the multivitamins you took, and then the empty container you have. So that can be the main body of the stupa. And then in it, a needle as the main skeleton of the stupa. And then write Ye Dharma mantra on a piece of paper and drape this needle with the mantra there. That is the heart of the stupa. And as some respect for this mantra, put a small tiny flower up there as a parasol. That is your stupa. Look, anybody can do dharma. Look at what the Buddha taught. Buddha was a prince, and he was not telling us elegant stupa with this gold, that's embellished with this gold, silver, diamond, and so forth. Look at this, what he's teaching us. So these are things that we need to remember. And then the real stupa is not outside stupa, it's the inside stupa. Outside stupa is just symbolic. It's a reminder for us. This is the they say the pure consciousness, pure mind of the Buddha, symbolic of the pure mind of the Buddha. And this is what we have to replicate within us. Our Buddha nature, remove the mental defilements, and the pure nature of your mind will manifest. That is the real stupa. That is the essence of dependent origination mantra. That is the real stupa. Okay, so now with this, we'll read this together. The Noble Mahayana Sutra, Dependent Arising. Homage to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Thus did I hear at one time the Blessed One was in the realm of the 33 gods, seated on the throne of Indra. With him were the great hearers, such as Venerable Ashvajit, Bodhisattva Mahasattva, such as Noble Maitreya, Noble Avalokiteshvara, and Vajrapani, who are adorned with immeasurable precious qualities, as well as various gods, such as the great Brahma, who is the Lord of the Saha world, Narayana, the great Ishvara, Sakara, who is the chief of the gods, and Panchasika, who is the king of the Gandharvas. On the occasion of the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara rose from his seat, and having draped his upper robe over one shoulder, knelt down with his right knee on the peak of Mount Meru, his palms pressed together. He then bowed towards the Blessed One and addressed these words to him. Blessed One, these gods already, now that they are present in your contrast, please teach them the Dharma in such a way so that the merit of Brahma will increase, and the merit of the monks, nuns, laymen, and laywomen will increase much more than that of all types of beings in the world, of gods, Maras, Brahma, including Divanchans and Brahmins. At this, the Blessed One spoke the verses of dependent arising. Ye dharma hetu prabhava, hetum tesham tathagato hyavatat, tesham chayo nirota, evam vati ma shramanayasu. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata, the cessation causes as well as taught by the great seer. Avalokiteshvara, it is like that. This dependent arising is the Dhammakaya of all the Buddhas. One who sees dependent arising sees the Tathagata. Avalokiteshvara, if a faithful son or daughter of a noble family builds in a remote place a stupa the size of gooseberry fruit, with a central pillar the size of a needle, and a parasol the size of a flower of the bagula tree, and inserts this verse of dependent arising, which is the Dhammadhatu, he or she will generate the merit of the Brahma. When such person pass on from here and die, they will be reborn in the world of Brahma. When they pass on from there and die, they will be reborn with fortunes equaling those of the gods of the pure abodes. After the Blessed One has spoken these words, the hearers, the Bodhisattvas, and the whole assembly, and the universe of gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, rejoice and praise his teaching. Okay. Continuation from where we left yesterday. The four seals, all composite things impermanent, all contaminated things are suffering nature, and everything's nature emptiness, selflessness. So this, the third line, is something which we are studying in detail in this course. And yes, of course, to really understand this chapter so well, we need to be exposed to the different 10 systems, the 10 systems of the non-Buddhist traditions, and within Buddhism, Vaibhashika, Sautrantika, Chittamatra, Madhyamaka, within Madhyamaka, the Svatantra Madhyamaka, Prasanga Madhyamaka. We have to know all these things, and I'll try my best to give them share with you the gist of what is required as background information to follow through this text. So that everything's nature, emptiness, and selflessness. So what we said is that yesterday, that if we really want to get away from the miseries, the pains, the fears in the dream, what is the fun solution? What should we be doing? Wake up. We need to wake up. And then what are the steps like? The 5 points, remember, the season karma afflictions is nirvana. Karma afflictions arise from conceptualization of inappropriate tension, which in turn arises from elaboration of self-grasping ignorance, and the elaboration ceases through the wisdom of emptiness. So from this, what we've learned is we learned 5 points, and each one of us, one by one. So I will point my finger randomly to anybody. You ready? The 5 points? Ready? Yeah, right. The Russians and the Russians both, you ready? I'll point a finger to anybody. Don't feel offended. Right? Okay, so what are the 5 points? Number 1, samsara. What is number 2? Contaminated. What is number 3? Affliction. What is number 3? Number 4, conceptualization of inappropriate tension, or simply put, inappropriate tension. Finally, self-grasping ignorance, or the elaboration of self-grasping. It's very good. That's amazing. You look so fresh. Okay, thank you. You're good. With the 5 points, but you do is that finally we are fed up with all these miseries of life, sickness, aging, death. In short, what is meant by misery? What is meant by suffering? It means loss of freedom, right? Loss of freedom. So how to get rid of this loss of freedom? So loss of freedom ranging from very gross to the very subtle. Grossest one, suffering. The subtlest one, pervasive condition suffering. Suffering change, pervasive condition suffering. And pervasive condition suffering is something, if you get rid of this, that is a total freedom. So getting rid of the suffering, it is partial freedom. Okay, who gets this partial freedom? Suffering removed? Anyone? Those beings in the form and the formless realm. Thank you. So they get the partial freedom, but it's not eternally freed from eternally or permanently freed from the suffering. They're temporarily freed from the suffering. Why temporarily? Why? In the form and formless realm, they are freed from suffering. There's no manifest suffering there. So they are freed from suffering, but temporarily. Why temporarily? Why? Anyone quick? Huh? Subject to karma, so what? They can go up and down. Temporarily, they when they're in the formless realm, however long they stay there, like 1,000,000 years, 2,000,000 years there, but then this time will one day exhaust, and again will have to come back. This is temporary. So, and some people, they get relief from the suffering change as well. Not only suffering, but also suffering change. Who are these people? Who are these beings? Resents? Victor? Okay. Anyone else? Viraj? Don't say that, other to say what the other person said. You getting it? Why? It is an exercise for us. Good. Don't say that he did the exercise. Hey, what is exercise like? No, he already did it. I'm saying with him. Don't say that. Do it. This exercise. Wonderful. Anyone else? Yes. Mike.
В мире желаний первые 3 уровня мира форм.
Okay, they have the suffering change in the desire realm, and the first 3 form realm. Very good. The lady over there. This lady here.
Страдания перемен существуют на первых 3 уровнях мира форм из 4.
Okay, suffering change exists in the first 3 levels of the form realm, first 3 concentrations. First 3 concentrations of the form realm and the desire realm also. Very good. Now the pervasive condition suffering. Who is freed from the pervasive condition suffering? Temporarily? Okay, gentlemen over there.
Enlightened ones?
Enlightened ones. The Buddhas.
Buddhas?
Okay. What about non-Buddhas? Not.
They will be reborn.
They're struggling.
Yeah.
Okay. So Buddhas. Anyone else? Raise hands. Raise hands. Raise hands. Okay. Din Shambhala. Over there.
Those who achieve the cessation, like meaning arahats and the enlightened ones.
Arahats. What? The Buddhas?
Arahats and enlightened ones, both.
Okay. So Arahats are not enlightened ones.
No,
Okay. So but the enlightened ones, they are not Arahats.
they are. But it's like arahats includes enlightened ones.
Okay. You mean to say the Arahats and the okay, all the Arahats.
All the arahats, yes.
Okay, all Arahats. Brinslav? Okay.
Yeah.
So is it like the Brinslav and the human beings? Or the human beings means Brinslav included?
Branislav is included in human beings, yes.
So you just say human beings is good enough.
Okay, okay.
So Arhats is good enough.
Okay, Arhats.
Arhats and enlightenment is not required. It's redundant.
Okay, so Arhats.
But don't trust me. Right. So these are fine tunings. Okay, last, the lady over there.
The beings who have all gotten rid of the pervasive conditioning sufferings are the Shravakas, Pratikas, Buddhas, and Buddhas, the enlightened ones.
Okay, Shravakas, Pratik Buddhas, and the Buddhas. Okay. The Shravakas on the path of accumulation, Pratik Buddhas on the path of accumulation, they're also Shravakas.
The ones who have reached the final path, the fifth.
Which one?
Actually, I think from the path of seeing, they have directly realized emptiness, but I don't think they have completely gotten rid of all the.
So they
are still in the process. I suppose when you get to the last stage, when you have completely.
what's the last stage?
Gate, gate,
Part of-
paragate, parasamgate, bodhiswaha.
Part of normal learning.
Yeah.
Part of normal learning?
Yes.
Good, thank you. Okay, so the Arhat, and usually we do find that what Brenslav said, and who else? Yes, then Shambhala said, Arhats and the Buddhas. We do find this statement also. It's not wrong, it's correct. Okay. So when we say Arhats and the Buddhas, so this Arhat refers to the non-Buddha Arhats. Whereas if you say just Arhats, then the Buddha is included. But if you specify Arhats and Buddhas, so here the Arhat does not include the Buddhas. These are the non-Buddha Arhats. Okay, good. So this is the finally we have to get rid of these three miseries. And how to get these three miseries? We have to get rid of contaminated karmas, right? You are getting now we have to go into more details. The more the details we learn, then it becomes more real within us. If you just go into the shortcuts, then it doesn't become real within us. So we have to get rid of the contaminated karmas, which means that we have to stop. We have to learn how to stop the undesirable physical actions, verbal actions, and mental actions, undesirable things. For example, like unnecessarily showing anger towards somebody, unnecessarily creating problems with somebody else. So these are the practical things that we need to learn. You, me also, all of us will learn this. How to not to create problems, uneasiness on other people. Right? Say your presence there should not be disturbance for others. These are things we have to learn. If you feel with the best of intention, you think that you are helping somebody, but if the person feels a little suffocated because of your presence, you have to change it. Don't think that I'm helping you. You're getting it? So there you should be really thinking that if the other person feels a little disturbed, then even though you think that you're helping, you should be very careful that you should act so diligently that the other person doesn't feel hurt. But it doesn't mean that the parents dealing with the children they're mischievous, then if I do something, the child will feel hurt. No, this is unskilled compassion. So we should know the boundary. When to do, when not to do. You're getting it? Particularly for strangers. Strangers are here. So for example, like we all meeting, most of us we are meeting for the first time, and then they say, we do something overly. And the other person can feel hurt. And they feel a little stress. So the moment you feel that, the person feels a little stressed because of your presence, then try to change what you're doing. This is very important. For example, His Holiness, I'll share these are things that we have to learn. Finally, we have to learn how to become like His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. And the Buddha, read the biographies of the Buddha, they're so amazing. Just the presence of him, everybody around him feels so happy, relaxed. They get a new life by being the presence of the Buddha. His Holiness, I remember once in the tour, his one's visit to somewhere in the West. And the hotel, His Holiness's room, the door cannot be locked from inside. So which means that, meaning that there's some damage to the lock system. And then, of course, the secretary, they come to know about it. Then they have to inform the hotel. Then the secretary was leaving, and his son sensed it, and he was called the secretary with his name, called his name, and said, "Hey, don't create too much of a problem on the other people." You're getting it? That secretary, how come that you are so unprofessional? Even the door, the lock system is not working. Just creating tension in the person. His son said, he's already wanted. He could sense what he may say. You're getting it? Don't create problem on the other person. These are the warnings that he gave out of all of compassion. That the other person will be disturbed because His Holiness is a VIP. So that they will feel so, nervous, stress, and they may be fired from the work. So he could see that. He could see the tension of the other people, potential tension in the other people. So therefore, this is, these are the things to make sure that others are not disturbed. This is so important, so important. If possible, your presence should bring a smile on others' face. This is so important. Let us all keep this in mind. And also that let us keep in mind that for example, so each amongst you, I would say that some politicians, they are amazingly good people, and some bureaucrats, they are so good people. And school teachers, likewise nurses, doctors, even businessmen and women, some of them are extremely good, but some, they're a very ordinary person. The moment you got into this position, that position, so forth, then they say you have a power to abuse, and you can also have a power to serve the people. And so this tells us how mature you are, how evolved you are. So you get into the position and you abuse the power to create problems on the people. This is extremely sad. So what I would say is that if you are in these situations like politicians or as a doctor, nurses, or the bureaucrats or whatever you are, make sure that the people under you, people who are dependent on you, they are well taken care of, number one. Number two, if you have relatives, friends who are into these areas, just inform them, somehow directly, indirectly, whatever, influence them positively, that they don't abuse their power, position, and so forth. This is so important. In fact, for Tibet House, what I tell people is that anybody who enters this gate, Tibet House gate, they may come up with the anger, they may come up with the fear, they may come with the sadness. When they enter Tibet House gate, Tibet House, the building, when they come, make sure that when they leave with a smile on their face. This is our responsibility. This is what I would tell all the staff. And one time, it was just quite recently that I entered the Tibet House campus in the car, and there was a couple, a gentleman and the wife, the foreign gentleman's wife. I saw the moment the car stopped and I got out, two of them left. And why? They just came and left. Why? They came for a purpose. This is not like a transit place. This place where you have to come deliberately. Just for that purpose you have to come, and then you leave within a few seconds. Something is wrong. Then I asked the staff. That the couple came, and they said the three or four staff were there. They came. They said yes. And why did they leave? They left right now. They said that it's the time for lunch. So what? They came for the museum, and the museum is closed. I said that they came just for this purpose. They came just for this purpose. And it's lunchtime for you, it's lunchtime for them also. They also need to eat something. But there's no place to eat around Tibet House. This is not like a market. So where will they go? If you have the lunch break for 1 hour, where will they go? Where will they stay? There's no place to stay. They have to go back. So all the time they spend all the way, very hot, all the way to Tibet House. And they have to go back. All this time wasted, heat, cold, thirst, hunger, and so forth. These are problems. Why not you just let them, you want to visit the museum, please come, right? If the museum in charge has to eat food, let him come down. Somebody from you go up there, replace the museum in charge. Why should you create problem this person unnecessarily? Why not entertain with compassion? And they're all very young. Then one of them said, "Sir, can I go to call them?" I said, "Yes, call." And instantly rushed, and they were right nearby. They were called, them, they were entertained. Be kind. Be kind. You know, be kind and be sensible. Don't always look at things from your point of view. When you look at things always from your point of view, this is driven by selfishness. Always try to look at things from the other's point of view. Then things will become beautiful. Learn how to see things from the other's point of view. For example, somebody say you greet the person, "Good morning," and the person says, "Good morning." If this is how the person responds, don't say this person is nasty, right? Try to put yourself in the other person's shoes. The person must have got a message, very sad message. And when the person is so sad, how can you expect the person to greet you nicely? When the person is so upset, how can you expect the person to greet you nicely? We have to learn how to look at things from the other person's shoes. In other words, be compassionate. You will be happy. Be compassionate. Spread this compassion. Teach others compassion. Teach your children how to be compassionate. This is so important. Okay. So, having said this, so what we say is that all these miseries which we meet with, they will make us just run into tears. So painful and sad. And these are because of contaminated karmas. If we don't want to contaminate karmas like what? Which we are doing. When we have the power, remember, ye dharma hetu prabhava. I don't want suffering, don't create suffering of somebody else. Make things easy for others. This is one thing. So if you don't want the contaminated karmas, destructive karmas, what should you do? Control your afflictions. Control the afflictions, like anger issue and excessive attachment. Say, for example, the family issues, litigation cases, property issues. You getting it? In some places, the brother and the daughter. And the brother, the parents, they say unspoken, and the property of the parents to be divided equally into the two siblings, two children, half-half. And the parents may have a greater inclination towards the son, or greater inclination towards the daughter, whatever. And the son or daughter, whoever has this feeling, initially very good. Initially my son, my brother, my sister, but when it comes to the property, then influence yourself and also influenced by your husband or wife, then want everything, right? This is greed. No sense of love and affection towards your sister, towards your brother. This is pure greed. And this will not give you any happiness. You are teaching your children how to be greedy. That later on the child will put you in trouble. Because you are teaching the child how to be greedy. And greedy means for the child and the parents, child sees selfishness. I'm more important than you. You are my father, you are my mother, but I'm more important than you. You have taught the child how to be greedy, how to be selfish. So what you're doing is actually teaching your children how to be selfish and how to dump you when you're in problem. You're teaching your child, and you don't know that. It's all out of ignorance. So managing your emotions, particularly the greed, anger, and so forth. This is so important. These are the practical, the application of these sophisticated philosophy in real life. So, how to manage the afflictions? Yes, I have an anger issue. I have the greed issue. What should I do? How should I manage it? Don't know. Buddha taught you, don't do it. Right? No, it will not help. This will not help. When the emotions, when you're in the grip of the anger or the attachment and so forth, you lose your control. So how to manage it? By managing the inappropriate attention. By managing, meaning that exaggerating the qualities of things, exaggerating thing that if you get the whole property of your parents, you will be the happiest person. You will not be happy. In a way, you are passing down this property to create problems in your children. Your children learn how to fight from you and your brother, you and your sister. You're passing down this legacy to children. Okay, now here's the property. You fight. With the children, you fight, right? Later on, when we die, when we leave, you fight over this property. And again, they will fight. So you are teaching them this. So, and this property is not you exaggerating the quality of these properties. So, if you don't exaggerate qualities, out of compassion, out of love for your sister, out of love for your brother, just say half-half, 50-50, right? Even the parents would be more in greater favor of you to give like 75% to you. No, 50-50. I love my sister so much. I love my brother so much. 50-50. Your brother love parents, the sister, they will respect you. Your children will see that in you. They will learn from you that in future your children will not fight. They will have 50-50 they'll continue to have this beautiful affection, family affection maintained because of your example. So these are things, exaggerating the qualities of the properties and objects. So how to stop that? Of course, say seeing things in relative terms. In relativity, we have to learn this, how to see things in relative terms. As we see things in relative terms, then the exaggeration will stop. When the exaggeration stops, it's so easy to say 50-50. And at times, if the other person is very greedy, take it all. You know, I don't want to go into mess. You take it all. You're getting sometimes. But sometimes if you say like this, the other person will become even more, become even more abusive. So there you should be a little careful, you know, how to manage situation. So finally, these are the problems, given that these are the problems of samsara, it will never end, is unending. If you want to bring an end to this, cut the elaboration of self-grasping ignorance. See everything's like a dream. Wake up. You will not be affected by the dream contents anymore. Okay. Now, before we move to the main text here, so these are the background information which we require. Now tell me that say we talked about 3 kinds of feelings. What are they? 3 kinds of feelings. Pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, and the neutral feeling. Generally speaking, what happens is that with you find in the mention of that in the text, that with the pleasant feelings, the corresponding emotion will be attachment. With unpleasant feeling, the corresponding emotion to be triggered is aversion. With the neutral feeling, the corresponding emotion to be triggered is ignorance. Okay, with the pleasant feelings, the corresponding emotion to be triggered is attachment. Do you agree? Pleasant feeling, attachment arises. You agree? Okay, this is agreeable. Unpleasant feeling, the corresponding emotion triggered will be aversion. You agree? When you feel so unpleasant, unhappy, then the tendency for you to shout at somebody else will be more. You agree? Good. With the neutral feeling, the tendency is to be ignorance. You agree? Oh, become silent. What happens? With the neutral feelings, then the tendency for the next reaction. Emotion meaning more than reaction to the feelings. Is going to be more ignorance. You agree? Okay, it's very silent. What happens? So is it an active state of silence or passive silence? Active. So why actively silent? Because maybe if you want to utter something, no, I don't agree, you think that I'll be offended. And if you say, yes, I agree, it's not true, you don't agree, so better remain silent. Is this the reason? If you don't agree, tell me why. Why you don't agree? What makes you not agree? Anyone? Quick. No, I really don't understand it. Right? Okay, Jane. Mike?
In practicality, when I don't have a feeling about a person, say one way or the other, I tend to just be indifferent and not
Be ignorant.
not even pay attention to them.
So what?
One way or the other.
So what?
So you're saying, I suppose that is my ignorance of being.
No, what I'm saying, with ignorance, the reaction which is likely to be triggered is ignorance. Is it true? Not true. If you disagree, it's not true. Tell me, in what way you disagree?
Because my practical reaction.
You will just ignore.
Ignore,
or be
yeah.
indifferent.
It doesn't seem. I don't.
It doesn't mean it's ignorance.
It doesn't mean ignorance to me.
It doesn't mean
necessarily.
ignorance. It's just okay. Who cares?
Yeah. That's,
Right.
Yeah.
So just ignore it or being indifferent.
Right.
Being oblivious. Good. Anyone else? How many agree? Yes, over there. Your name?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Sergey. I don't necessarily disagree. It's just in my world, ignorance is something like bad, quote unquote.
Oh.
And when I have neutral feelings, they are neutral. I don't paint them in black, so to speak. So I don't disagree with you, obviously. I just have a little confusion about the statement that the neutral type of feeling equals ignorance. Because as the lady said, just when I feel neutral, I don't feel anything in a way.
Sergey. Okay. Huh? Your name? Your name?
My name is Sergey.
Sergey. Okay, thank you. Sergey seems very kind. He doesn't want to offend me. Yeah, actually he disagrees. He fully disagrees, but he put it so nicely that nobody will sense that he disagrees with me. That's amazing. So kind and very skillful. Okay. I'm still saying that the most likely reaction from you is ignorance. Still I'm saying this. I know that this word, ignorance, is not a pleasant word. It's an unpleasant word. Still I'm using this. Okay, Tinzi Ishala.
Ignorance, it's also in both of attachment and aversion. Ignorance is also there, no?
No, the third one. The first and second is done.
Yeah. But the third one, it's for me, it's kind of more subtle aversion. It's not when you don't just, it's kind of, it's not ignorance. It's a subtle aversion.
Okay, it's not ignorance. So
it's the ignorance. It's the mastermind.
Okay,
but
Tinzi Ishe is more direct than Sergey. Okay, finally, Benla. Okay, Benla first. Then the Shoheli. Yes.
Geshe-la, with the pleasant and unpleasant feelings, the attachment and aversion, they are more manifest reactions, like some thoughts or emotion or physical action with the attachment and aversion. With the ignorance, it's harder for me to see how is it a reaction, like in what way it's a reaction to the neutral feeling.
Do you agree with me or disagree with me? In a way, disagree.
I don't know.
Oh, this I don't know if I disagree. Okay, Shoheli.
Geshe, this is just a question. Like these three, like attachment, aversion, and ignorance, these three are three poisons.
Yes.
So, what kind of feelings one can have if it's pleasant feelings is also in a poison, unpleasant also poison, and neutral also poison. Like for ordinary things are poison. So
where's the hope?
Yeah.
Right. All three are poisons, right? Either we have to go through one of these three things, either pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. So all three are poisons. Where's the hope now? Okay, this is a big question. Thank you. Okay, look, this is a good question. Thank you. And then what Ben said is very important, extremely important point he raised, that when you are neutral, in what you are reacting, there's no actual reaction. For example, attachment, there's a reaction there. Anger, there's a reaction there. But with the neutral, what reaction? So how would you say there's a reaction there? There's a reaction. There's active reaction there. So that you have to remind me how there's active reaction. This is very important, because meditation is not a passive state, it's an active state. Even the single point meditation is an extremely active state. It's not a passive state. Active is moving like this. When we say active, it has a connotation that we move like this, then we say active. This is not the meaning of the being active. Even the single point meditation, one is so actively there. It's so difficult. So physical, with this movement is active, it's not that difficult. Just keep observing you like this without any movement. That is way more difficult than physical activity of the movement. Way more difficult to maintain this active state of observing you is way more difficult than actually involving with you. Okay. Yes, this is Samsala. Is some raise hand? Yes.
I agree with you that neutral feelings, ignorance is a tendency, because when you're in neutral feelings and it kind of feels like a lull, you're ignorant to the fact that you're in samsara. You're not being pushed or pulled to any external stimuli, but you're also not moved to for example, practicing Dharma, you're in the trap.
Okay, this is something, let's say that, okay, what's the feeling like at the moment? I am in a neutral state. I'm neutral feeling. Are you in samsara? Yes, I'm in samsara, I know. Right? So how does it give rise to ignorance?
You don't have aversion for...
I have no aversion, no attachment, but I know I'm in samsara. And feeling pleasant is the neutral feeling. So how does it give rise to ignorance?
But we actually need aversion for samsara to feel repulsed to practice Dharma, to have renunciation. But without anything, you're so comfortable that you just...
No, I'm not comfortable. I'm neutral.
Neutral is neither...
It's neither
nor.
comfortable nor non-comfortable.
It's kind of like a lull, like
Low, yes. Not low.
no, not low, lull, Lull, like a
Lull. So what? Okay. So good point. I think somebody's there. Yes. Here. Okay, I know that there are many other hands, so this is the last one, because then we'll move forward. Yes, your name?
My name is Vyacheslav.
Rislav.
Я буду говорить по-русски. Вчера мы говорили, я согласен с вами, Гешелай, вчера мы говорили о 3 видах страданий и упомянули всеобъемлющее страдание. И выяснили, что на этом уровне присутствует нейтральное загрязнение, загрязненное нейтральное чувство. И, соответственно, именно поэтому нейтральные ощущения являются неведением.
First of all, I agree with you, Geshe. And yesterday we spoke about 3 types of the suffering, and the 3rd type of suffering is pervasive conditioning suffering, and we said that this suffering is actually a contaminated neutral feeling, and that's why I think that this contaminated neutral feeling is ignorance.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, now let us okay, first lend me your ears, let me say something, and then you contemplate on this, see if it makes some sense. Let's say that we are dreaming, and we have a very pleasant dream, pleasant feeling, pleasant dream, pleasant feeling, and your reaction. Then the next moment, very unpleasant dream, unpleasant feeling, reaction. And the third, a very neutral state that, okay, now you're in a Tushita, right? Okay. And the, what? The pleasant feeling is not there, unpleasant feeling is not there, more like neutral. Okay. Are you happy? Okay, so. Are you not happy? So. I'm more neutral. This when is that happening? In which state? In a dream. You are in a dream. So, what's the feeling like? What's the feeling? Neutral feeling. And the say you are seeing things. So that neutral feeling, that is accompanied by believing that where I am is real. Believing that where I am is real, is this ignorance or this is reality? This is wisdom. This is ignorance. So even though it's a neutral feeling, but they're still accompanied by the ignorance. They're believing that. So okay, this flower is not so fancy, not bad also, right? Neutral, right? But it's actually a dream flower. Say you're dreaming. So there's still the ignorance pervades. All alone, the ignorance pervades. Same, who said it? I think Benla, or somebody said it, that the same with the first very pleasant dream, pleasant feeling, and the reaction is attachment. Underscoring attachment is ignorance. What ignorance? Believing the dream is real. The next moment, the unpleasant feeling, unpleasant dream, and unpleasant feeling. And the reaction is aversion. Again, what underscores this aversion is the ignorance. Believe that the dream is real. Now, in the third case, neutral feeling, there's no additional information. Attachment, aversion. These two are not there, but the ignorance is still there. Ignorance underscores that. So, that although it's neutral feeling, but neutral feeling is accompanied by the ignorance. You're getting it? So that is the contaminated. This is number one. The neutral feeling is itself contaminated with ignorance, and then the thoughts, emotional reaction towards this is simply the nature of the ignorance. Ignorance flows. So this is why attachment gives rise to, pleasant feeling gives rise to attachment, unpleasant gives rise to aversion, and neutral feelings, what neutral feelings? Contaminated neutral feelings gives rise to ignorance. This is the meaning. Then the next question is, if this is what it is, the three poisons, then the 24/7 we are in the poisons. With the poisons, there's no possibility to escape. So where lies the hope? This is the Shohini's question. Very serious question. Okay, right? So, anyone, where lies the hope? Anyone? Where lies the hope? Over there, Manish. Yes? Is this Manish? Yes. What's the question? Where lies the hope? If 24/7 we are submerged in the three poisons. By waking up from the dream. Surely happy, not happy. Why not? So when will the dream happen? So every moment is poison. Every moment we have the three feelings. Every moment three poisons are there. Poisons will never let us wake up. Right? This is a question from Shohili. The mic. By realizing wisdom of emptiness. Okay, so the two, they have debate. I can see that this is a heated debate. Between Shohili saying that where lies the hope? 24/7, three feelings. We cannot escape from the three feelings. With three feelings, three poisons come. 24/7, the three poison. So where lies the hope? And the Manish is very positive. Don't worry, there's hope. Wake up from the sleep of ignorance. And this is, where's the waking up? Waking up itself is poison. State of waking up, process of waking up. Process of waking up, is it in the waking state or in the dream state, sleep state? Process of waking up. In the sleep state or the waking state? In the sleep state. Sleep state is all three feelings, three poisons. So even the process of waking up is also poison. This is perhaps Shohili's point. Yes, so where lies the hope? Even the hope is also poison. Where lies the hope then? This is the question. Okay, here.
Because the nature of the mind, that which is experiencing, is itself the cessation of suffering. That in each moment, even experiencing any of the poisons, the nature of that experiencing is the cessation of the poisons.
The true nature of the mind is so pure. No matter how poisonous our mind is, the true nature of mind is so pure. So
I think, I won't give a metaphor, I promise. I think we can influence the poisons. Like if I get pleasure from unobscuring the state of my mind, then I can continue to use these illusions, these poisons, to direct myself to a further unobscuration.
How?
How? through resonating. That if I'm going through a moment, I'm releasing to reality as it is, purely as it is. Then in that moment, as it brings pleasure, then I can relate that to a deeper sense of truth. So I can continue to propagate those behaviors, those actions, those karmas towards that truth.
How?
Meditation, realizing emptiness,
No,
bodhicitta,
first
compassion.
say truth. How do you know the truth? Because you are in a poison.
I think you asked the question. I think you sit down and you ask the question, you see what the answer is. I think emptiness is only emptiness because when you sit and you analyze, it is that which appears to be evident. And you can develop a conviction. And through this conviction that brings pleasure, that's still in the realm of the poisons, you can develop
Conviction in what?
the conviction of the truth of reality as it is.
Conviction of the truth of the reality as it is. It is a poison or not?
Is it a poison? It's still under the influence of giving pleasure.
No, is it poison or not?
The reality as it is conceptually is a poison, yes.
So if it is poison, how can it lead you to non-poison?
Because in the nature of purifying oneself of obscuration, the poisons, by continuing conceptually to the non-conceptual.
So if there is poison, it will not help to remove the poison, because itself is poison.
But it can. I think if you're asking questions, I have to use concepts to arrive at the non-conceptual. So I can manipulate. I'm trying not to use a metaphor, but I can manipulate the dance, to going to a place where I can hear the song. I have to somehow move.
What's your name?
Nicholas.
What Nicholas said in between, he said something very important. I think we'll touch on this part. You made a very important point. So I'm seeing how deep he goes. Thank you. Okay, Nicola. Oh, okay. Anyone else? Okay, pray now.
Thank you, Geshe. I think 3 parts. 1, the belief that the pure state
Wow,
of mind
3 parts.
is...
Look, this is amazing. IT? Is it? Yes. Instantly I got a feeling it's like IT. You know, I, 3 parts. Yes. That's amazing.
So 1 is the belief that the pure state of mind is clear, like a glass,
Okay,
and then dust is there.
true nature of mind. Let's
true
say,
natures.
I mean, let's not say pure state, which means you just come up with the supposition.
Yeah.
But state of mind, you have a mind, we know that. And this mind has a true nature. What is that true nature? We don't know. Still, it's acceptable. This true nature of mind. And you say that this true nature is a true nature. And that true nature is pure. Okay, that's questionable. It's fine. It's pure. Then, first.
Then we have systemic studies which we have to do to slowly reach to that stage. And then we have the path shown by the Buddha that one can reach there, and that's quite well established. So through those 3 things we could come out of the
that's
poison.
amazing. So first, say that your mind, the true nature of mind, yes, it is a true nature. Whether it's pure or not pure, it doesn't matter. There's a true nature. It can be very pure. It can be very impure. So this true nature is, well, fortunately, is very pure. So whatever you learn it, read the Dhamramkot by Arinigarjuna, read these texts, and you get some sense, not 100% sense, some sense to it that, okay, my true nature is very pure. Look at the Buddha. Look at the Holiness of the Dalai Lama. Amazing. My mind can also resonate, also become one like theirs. So then you study how they follow through the journey. What kind of journey that they have went through. You study that and then see it makes sense. And then also take them as a role model. Say if I do like this, if I go in this direction path, then number 3, then I can become one like them. So in total, we get a feeling that we actually become better. Better is the best or not best? Better is best or not best? Better still not best. So better means it's closer to the best. It's amazing, this IIT. Thank you. Okay, Anna, may it be last.
Thank you. Just sort of picking up on the conversation before, when you're talking about true nature of mind, I think maybe it's also possible, while there's the three poisons, that even in this moment there is an ability to recognize the true nature of mind, and then to be able to remain in that true nature of mind as an alternative.
How?
Well, I think it needs to be supported by the right causes for that recognition to occur clearly.
How do you recognize it?
Well, I think there's two approaches, or there's more than one approach. I mean, the approach we're studying is through learning and following guide, but I think there's also an approach of being shown that state, and then being able to clearly identify that state with confidence, and then be able to remain in that state, which requires calm abiding to be able to remain in that state, but also a conviction and confidence that you have arrived at the true nature of mind.
Okay. Okay, in fact, this is a very serious question. Thank you, Anna. The very serious question, the question raised by the Shoheli. This is addressed in this text, Guided Bodhisattva's Way of Life. Bodhisattva Shantideva, 1,200 years ago, he knew that 1,200 years later, in 2024, there's going to be one girl by the name of Shoheli. He'll come with a question. So by then I'll not be there. So I'll leave the book here. He left the book, right? So yeah, he left this book for her. Yeah. So it'll become somewhere in the last part of this text. It'll be there. And if you don't get the answer, or if you don't find it anywhere, you remind me. Go to identify. This is extremely important point. Very good. Thank you. So many good things are happening here. Good. Okay, with this what we learned is that how the neutral feeling can be contaminated neutral feeling. You understood it? You understand it? And how the neutral feeling will give rise to the what? Ignorance. You getting it? So, ignorance is contaminated or not contaminated? Contaminated. You getting it? Okay. So, the happiness that you get in the dream is contaminated or not contaminated? Why contaminated? Don't make it too boring. If the little happiness that you have is contaminated, is what show it is. Where's the hope then? Okay, what makes you think that the pleasant feeling in the dream, what makes you feel that it is contaminated? So pleasant feeling triggering attachment, that is contaminated, that's understandable. But then before the attachment is triggered, pleasant feeling per se, how is it contaminated? Anyone? Okay, Dedenla. How is this pleasant feeling in the dream contaminated?
Because it's not real. In the dream,
yes.
Pleasant feeling in the dream is pleasant because you don't realize it's a dream.
Okay, so even the pleasant feeling in the dream, accompanying that is the mind, is the ignorance, which thinks that the dream is not dream. The dream is real. That is ignorance. So that mind, that mind is fused with this pleasant feeling in the dream. Because these two are fused, that pleasant feeling is also contaminated because of the ignorance with it, blend with it. So that is what? Hey, that is contaminated happiness. So now you have understood contaminated happiness. What is uncontaminated happiness now? What is uncontaminated happiness now? Now we got the clue. What is uncontaminated happiness? With this example, what is uncontaminated happiness? With this word happiness, some of you may not be too happy with this word happiness. Uncontaminated ease, uncontaminated fulfillment, uncontaminated happiness, whatever you may call it. Okay. Is there anybody who can guess, say, quite confidently as to what is meant by uncontaminated happiness? Anyone? Raise hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's hear here. Mike here. Now, what is meant by uncontaminated happiness?
Hello, Geshe. My name is Pavel. As far as I'm getting to get out of any contamination, we need to get out of self-grasping ignorance. We have to get out of ignorance. And to get out of the ignorance, we need to, the opposite side, wisdom of emptiness. And where the wisdom of emptiness is, there is no feeling, there is no happiness.
Then it's not uncontaminated happiness.
So there is no uncontaminated happiness.
So, which means uncontaminated happiness is just imagination. It's not real.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting now. That's where I am.
Okay. Anyone else? Thank you. Over there.
Меня зовут Тензин. Если загрязненное счастье смешано с неведением, значит незагрязненное счастье, оно свободно от незагрязненного состояния ума, имею в виду.
Mike?
Hello, Venerable Geshe. My name is Tenzin, and my answer is: if contaminated happiness is mixed with ignorance, therefore uncontaminated happiness is not mixed with ignorance.
Very good. So, in other words, happiness that you feel, ease that you feel, fulfillment that you feel upon waking up, you're not tainted by the ignorance. Contamination, what underscores all the contamination is the ignorance. When the ignorance is removed, the happiness is left. That happiness becomes the uncontaminated happiness. So what is this, in what way this ignorance is the problem? Is the problem that you see the dream as real. And the dream, what's the problem with the dream? What's the problem with the dream? Number two things. Number one is that in the dream, there's no freedom. There's no freedom. Lack of freedom is misery because of the contamination of the ignorance. And then number two, in the dream, you continue to see the dream as real. So this is a problem. So being in the dream of samsara, we have loss of freedom and we continue to see things as objective real. Ignorance. So we are in the ocean of the ignorance, and because of which all the happiness that we experience, they are tainted by this ignorance. This is known as contaminated happiness, or contaminated ease, contaminated fulfillment. When you wake up, when the ignorance is removed, happiness is not destroyed. For example, let's say if this is a pure gold, okay, this is very important. If this is a pure gold, precious, not precious, very precious, very precious. But it is a hot, burning gold, burning, really burning fire gold. So, if I hold it, it burns my hand, it burns me. You're getting it? So, if I let go, because it's burning me, I let go, I'm throwing the gold. You're getting it? No, I should not throw the gold. I hold the gold, it's burning me. What should I do? Right? No, you have to do, I think you keep burning yourself, or let go of the gold. No, these are not the two options. There's a third option. Have the gold and remove the fire. Put it in the cold water. put in the cold water, remove the fire, and maintain the goal. You're getting it? Happiness, there's nothing wrong with happiness. Don't feel that happiness is against religion, happiness against spirituality, happiness against Buddha's teachings. No. In fact, we came to Buddhism. How many of you came to Buddhism saying that, hey Tushita, or hey Tibet house, or hey this, that, hey Sera monastery, hey Ganden monastery, hey Ganden Chuling monastery, please teach me how to get rid of my happiness. I have so much happiness. Please teach me how to get rid of my happiness. This is not how you came to this center. This is not how you came to Bhutam Sharana Gacchami. Please teach me how to remove my happiness. This is not how you came to the centers. I have so much of problem. Teach me how to get rid of my problems. I want to be happy. When I'm happy, all my family members are happy. When I'm sad, all my family members are sad. I don't want to be sad. I want to be happy, to make everybody happy, to all sentient beings happy. Please teach me how to be happy, how not to have the miseries. This is how we turn to Buddhism. So now the Buddhism should teach us that, not to get rid of happiness, to have the happiness and to get rid of the miseries. This is what the Buddhism should teach. So therefore, it's not that the happiness per se is nothing wrong. What is wrong is the loss of freedom is the problem. When is the loss of freedom? Loss of freedom is the moment you feel attached to the happiness, the moment you feel aversion to the unpleasant feelings, the moment you feel ignorance. So these three things are the problems. These three things are the problems. So happiness, what's wrong with it? In fact, when you become a Buddha, you get the infinite happiness. You get the infinite, the joy, infinite ease. You get this. So this is who you are. This is your true nature. What's wrong with this? So what is uncontaminated happiness? Uncontaminated happiness is happiness where you're not tainted by you're not tainted by ignorance, number one. And that you have a total freedom. You have a total freedom. Lack of freedom, what underscores the lack of freedom is the ignorance. When the ignorance is gone, that is the uncontaminated happiness. Okay, Yenla, the mic.
Geshe-la, I just want to have a question to clarify. So we're talking about contaminated and uncontaminated today.
Yes.
And yesterday we talked about mundane and supramundane.
Yes.
So can we equate mundane with contaminated, supramundane with uncontaminated?
Okay, this is a good question. Anybody who has helped me? Mundane, supramundane, contaminated, uncontaminated. This is so important. Actually, this job of the IIT.
Because
all these distinctions should be made by the IIT,
Yeah, because yesterday Geshe-la mentioned that supramundane happiness is the feeling of ease accompanied with a non-dual wisdom of emptiness.
Yes.
Now, non-dual wisdom of emptiness is only during the meditative equipoise, during the path of seeing and above.
Yes.
So post-meditative state, there's no non-dual wisdom of emptiness. Does that mean that it is mundane?
Very, very good question. Anyone else? Okay, anyone? Anyone? Okay, there. This question is coming from NMC 1. Narendra Master's course, batch 1. Right? And the answer should be coming from IIT. Okay, yes.
So I don't believe that they're, would you say, mutually exclusive, or they're synonymous, because the purpose is not to get, some conventional existence is considered mundane, and the purpose is not to get rid of conventional existence. Ultimate existence and conventional existence exist simultaneously. And regarding the non-dual awareness, my understanding is that Buddhas are always in a state of non-dual awareness. So in that sense, It's not that you have to be, or they're always in a state of meditative equipoise. And so Buddhas don't come out of that understanding. And so...
Your name?
Jonathan.
John.
Yes.
Okay, John, let me say, what you said is conventional truth is mundane. You
Yes.
said it?
Yes.
For example, the Buddha's mind, all minds should necessarily be conventional truth, including Buddha's mind. So Buddha's mind is not mundane, it's a supramundane. But this Buddha's mind is conventional truth. Okay, in a way what I'm saying is that we all, including John, myself, what we need to do is that whatever knowledge that you have, what have you learned before, or what you think you have learned from before, there's no need to discard them. At the same time, it is so important for us to learn something comprehensive. Information must be correct information. Even if it is less information, it doesn't matter. Make sure that it is a correct information. You're getting it? Say, all conventional truth may not necessarily be mundane. For example, Buddha's mind, Buddha's bodies, it's conventional truth, but they're not mundane, they're supramundane. Right? Okay, so now Audrey, NMC1, so good. NMC1, give answer to NMC1 question. Okay, Mike Quake. Okay, John, thank you.
I'll try, Geshe.
Yes.
So when we talked of supramundane happiness yesterday, and we're talking about it being accompanied...
Okay, the best would be, in order not to confuse too much, let's say mundane, supramundane versus contaminated, uncontaminated. How would you distinguish the two?
So supramundane is when accompanied by the non-dual wisdom of emptiness, but uncontaminated is when self-grasping ignorance is completely removed.
Okay, so mundane and contaminate, can these two be equated or not?
No.
Can you give an example of what is mundane, not contaminated? Can you give an example of contaminated, which is not mundane?
Oh God.
Or whichever?
What is supramundane can be...
No, give me an example of either
At Arya
what is mundane, not contaminated, or contaminated, not mundane.
Say that again, Geshe.
You choose.
So what is
Mundane, not contaminated, or contaminated, not mundane. Contaminated, but supramundane.
So
maybe you would give...
yes. Or an Arya being in a meditative equipoise, okay, who is contaminated. Yes, but who has not yet fully achieved the elimination of self-grasping ignorance.
Okay. So that is?
That is contaminated.
Contaminated, not mundane.
Not
supramundane.
Yes.
Okay, it's contaminated. Which one?
It's contaminated.
Okay,
Because
so the first, let me say something. Okay, the Venerable Chinla. NMC1.
Geshe, can I try an example of supramundane but contaminated?
Yes.
So, for example, generosity, when we say the supramundane generosity, right? The generosity of an Arya being.
Okay.
Generosity performed by an Arya being, accompanied by or tempered by non-dual wisdom of emptiness. That is called supramundane generosity, but it is still that generosity is contaminated. Uncontaminated, I personally feel, would be a non-dual wisdom of emptiness and all the associated mental factors along with it, which is feeling also and all. That will be uncontaminated.
Okay, very good. Anyone who likes to share with us what is meant by mundane, what is meant by contaminated? These two things, if you can make it clear, mundane, then you know what is supramundane. You know contaminated, then you know what is uncontaminated. So what Srila said is perfect. The example which originally gave is very good. Anyone else who likes to? The girl over there, Volater, you like to give the? Yes, say something. Yes.
Я буду тоже говорить по-русски. Я просто пытаюсь сейчас понять и предположу, как пример. Например, если я нахожусь в таком состоянии пустоты, я могу созерцать красоту цветка, например, розы. И наблюдая за этим цветком, для меня я чувствую счастье, я чувствую, что это прекрасный цветок, при этом у меня нет желания им обладать, при этом я в любой момент могу уйти, у меня нет никаких зацепок, он может меняться на моих глазах. Ну вот, можно сейчас начать переводить? То есть это созерцание, это наблюдение, но не цепляние, при этом это внутреннее состояние такой наполненности, счастья.
Okay, Geshe-la, so I want to attempt to answer to your question. My name is Vlada, and the example I want to give is for example, if I'm in the state of emptiness, and from this state I'm looking at a beautiful flower, and by looking at this beautiful flower, I experience a great happiness. But at the same time, although I experience this emptiness by looking at the beautiful flower, I have no wish to possess the flower. I just enjoy it, but I don't have this wish to have to possess this flower. That's my answer.
I don't have any emotional when this is changed or something like that. It's beauty. It's pure, still like that. I see I feel this is some good feeling. If this is changed, it's changed. If this is stay like that, it stays like that. And I don't want to touch, and even I not want to change it. This is. If it's not comfortable for me, I don't want to change. Something like that.
Okay, good. Thank you. So thank you. One thing that I'd like to share with you is that say facts and the intuitions. There are two things. Some people work purely on the intuition. Some people work purely on the basis of facts. Some people get a little bit of facts. On that basis, you get some intuitions, intuitive answers. You getting it? And I would say that intuition generally speaking, if there's some factual basis, and then some intuition built up on that, some of the intuitions can be very profound, but some can be very deceptive. I hear this very constantly, people saying that, oh, just listen to your intuition. This can be very destructive. You're getting it? Some people, their intuition can be extremely profound. And why? Some people have good intuitions and some people don't have good intuitions. Why? Some people's intuition can be very destructive, very wrong, can make you take very wrong decisions. And some intuitions are extremely profound. What makes the difference? Simply because some people have good intuition doesn't mean that everybody, you have to listen to your intuition. This is very destructive, right? So now tell me why some people have good intuitions. Some people, meaning good judgment on the basis of your own intuition. Some people, intuition is so horrible. Why these differences arise? Yes? This is so important because I can see that the answer that the volater is saying, answer that she's giving, I can see that there's some element of intuitive thoughts, and I can see this intuitive thought is very beautiful. But it must be supported by facts. And if you have some intuitive thoughts coming and which makes you happier, your emotions subside, it's very good intuition. It must be supported by facts. Some people they have this. Some people they have, like the natural gift in architectural designing and so forth. And some of them can do way better than some of the proper architects. Even the proper architects, they learn from these people. So, if they're young, then many people encourage them, at least get a certificate. Get a certificate is like to certify that you are qualified to do this work. So this certification, which means that how to get a certificate, you have to go through systematic studies, facts, and then you have a natural intuitive skills. Combined together makes you a brilliant architect. So therefore, what she said, I can sense that she's feeling something. It must be supported by facts. You have to learn the facts. Facts cannot be guessed. Facts you have to learn. You're getting it? So therefore, these studies, and if possible, don't feel complacent with just 10-day retreat, 5-day retreat, 2-day retreats, and so forth. Don't feel complacent. You have after these are like the what do you call it? This like the lighthouses. The lighthouse. They show the light. You are not in the light. Light. Someone from outside shows you the light. Don't think that you are in the light. You getting it? It's just somebody else helping you to indicate that you are near the land. You are not on the land. So intuitive thoughts, some are so good, they must be supported by the real factual knowledge. For the factual knowledge, we have to learn. And for learning, there are so many programs nowadays, something very systematic. As I said earlier, the Ramela. So we have the brochures, all the brochures, where are they? So brochures are lying there. You feel free to help yourself to get those brochures later on. We have to go for some systematic studies. This is so important. Okay, next.
Related to the question, I think along the journey, we somehow, by where we have developed ourselves, it's more connected with intuition or with facts. Yesterday also when we had the conversation about mundane happiness and also supramundane happiness, I felt it's the example when you do selfless service, like karma yoga. So this is very much coming for a pure intuition because you do have the capacity of give and you kind of interact instinctively, especially maybe more in...
This is not intuition, this is instinctive. These two are different.
Okay, so you act by intuition, but that's maybe the root of it is compassion, but you need to combine it with wisdom because you act wanting to give help, but you don't know exactly what the other person needs in the moment. Exactly. So I think the supermundane happiness or the people that go more realized on this path, they give with compassion, deep compassion, but they also have the wisdom clearly to see what the other person needs. Because sometimes you do give it by intuition.
Did you get my question?
Yes.
What's my question?
What's the difference between people that go with more connected with facts or people that are more connected?
I didn't say that. That's not my question. Is there anybody who remembers my question?
What's the difference?
Is there anybody who remembers my question? Yes.
The question is, why are some people's intuitions...
Mike.
What's the difference between people whose intuitions are better,
more accurate
versus those who are very destructive?
Even that is not the complete,
Okay,
98% good. Anyone else? There's 98%. Anybody who can feel it? The remaining 2%? 2% disappeared? Okay, the gentleman over there?
I thought I had an answer, and then I realized that it's not based on facts. So thank you.
Okay. Wonderful. What's your name?
My name is Shaq.
Shag, yes, yes. Okay, that shag is amazing. All right. If all the participants are like shag, then our studies will go so fast. Right, that's amazing. Very precise. Thank you. Okay, Brenslav. What's the question?
So the question was, what is the difference between someone who has intuition that's based on facts and whose intuition can be very profound, and someone whose intuition can be deceptive? So, for example, very deceptive.
No, don't say for example. What's my question? I didn't say for example.
Everything without the example part that I just said.
This is just identically the replication of what Venerable the Tuanla said.
Okay.
It's just exactly the same. Anybody who remembers, yes, you have to add the 2%. Yes.
I think it was just a simple question why certain people have an intuition, strong intuition, and some others less strong intuition, or know it all.
Somewhat there. But you're not even clear. I can see that.
No, because, I'm done.
Yes, this is what I'm saying. Even she's not too sure what she's saying. Okay, what I said is that there's a difference there. There's a difference there. Why this difference occurred? Why this difference occurred? Why this difference occurred? Why? Why some people, they have the good intuition, why others don't have the good intuition? And some people, they are so naive. No, it doesn't matter. You just follow intuition, listen to intuition. This can be very destructive. You getting it? Okay. So this, let us listen to Joel, the Tenzin Shela later on, not today. Right? Later on. Okay, let us listen to recent. Tenzin Shela. Okay, I hope you'll get the 2% which was missing. Okay, now, let's say that the mundane and the contaminated, supramundane, uncontaminated. Let me share with you, and then we have to go through the text. Say okay, this is a fact, Shak. This is a fact. The fact is, and then your job is to say, put the equations in different forms. Say how they work. Mundane. Mundane has the connotation. Mundane is, say, those qualities in general. Okay, mundane, first let me explain this in a loose sense. Mundane is in the context where the realization of emptiness is not, say, where the individual is yet to get the direct realization of emptiness. Let me repeat it. Mundane is where the individual is yet to have the direct realization of the emptiness. That is mundane. For example, like if you don't have, say, the direct realization of emptiness, like almost like I can say, like 80-90% of us, there may be some, we never know who is enlightened but not enlightened, we never know. But would say that if you have no direct realization of emptiness, you have no experience of direct realization of emptiness, then all attributes, mind, aggregates within you, they are mundane. They are mundane. You getting it? This is meaning of the mundane. Now the next, then the above. Okay, this is one thing. Then the contaminated, uncontaminated. Contaminated, uncontaminated has various shades of meaning. Various shades of meaning, but what I will give you here, in this context, to make it simple, not to confuse us, is that contaminated, uncontaminated is in the context of, say again, in the context, okay, first, what did I tell you about the mundane? Mundane? Anything related to things where the individual, the person, is yet to have the direct realization of the emptiness. In other words, let's say gate, when do you have the direct realization of emptiness? Gate, para, samgate, bodhisattva. When do you have the direct realization of emptiness? Gate, para, gate. Third one. From third one above, their qualities are known as supramundane. So third one below, gate. The first two, whatever they have, Whatever they have, these are known as the mundane. All good qualities, including the wisdom of emptiness that they have. They are mundane. You getting it? Then the next is the contaminated, uncontaminated. So the uncontaminated and supramundane can overlap. May not be square, may not be 100% same, can overlap. For example, like say, with the supramundane, when it's supramundane, seeing emptiness directly and above, seeing emptiness directly. So that is the mark of the level where you are in the supramundane level of the mundane level. So from there you can have contaminated and uncontaminated both, even with the qualities. For example, like say, the direct realization of emptiness, and that is the uncontaminated. Whereas the conceptual experience of emptiness, even after realizing emptiness directly, say you're in a deep meditative state, you are in a direct realization of emptiness. Then from there you get up and then you start having your food or reading texts or teaching the students and so forth. There, say the emptiness experience comes. So these are conceptual experience. So these conceptual experience of emptiness, although you already realize you have the experience of direct experience of emptiness, but it doesn't mean that your experience of emptiness is always going to be the non-dual. It's not necessary. So you can be in a conceptual state of emptiness. So these conceptual experiences of emptiness, they are still contaminated. So in other words, uncontaminated, in a loose sense, you see that in the standard Indian text, they have the mention of contamination in 6 different forms. But keep it very the precise here or easy here is contaminated by the influence of the appearance of intrinsic reality. Influence of appearance of intrinsic reality. Not just self-grasping ignorance, but the appearance of intrinsic reality also. And some of you who are very new, you may be a little confused. Don't worry about that. In other words, when you have that realization of emptiness, that realization per se, so there things are uncontaminated. So when you are in when you reach the path of seeing, you already have that direct realization of emptiness. And then when you are in the in-between session, like you get up, you meet with people, and so forth. So there, the conceptual minds arise. And then somebody said that, say, even the awareness of everything is like a dream. Everything is subjective, can come. So if that is on the conceptual level, then it's contaminated. It's influenced by the contamination. But the contamination, not necessarily that contamination means something bad. You're getting it? Contamination has limitations. It is not bad, it has limitations. Limitation in what? What did I say? Contaminations may not necessarily be bad, but it has limitations. So what is your question? What kind of limitations? You're getting it? What kind of limitations which mark them as contaminated? So now, since that I explained to you what is contamination, can you think of a contaminated virtue? So when we think about the virtues and non-virtues, we associate virtues so good. But virtue, there are two kinds, contaminated virtues and uncontaminated virtues. Right? Can you imagine a virtue which is contaminated? Contaminated virtues. Nishok, can you imagine the contaminated virtues now? If you can identify contaminated virtues well, then I'll close this chapter of uncontaminated for the time being.
I can try.
Yes.
When you are selflessly giving, but maybe there is a tinge of expectation of reciprocity, maybe it's contaminated.
Okay, Nishok, you are using your intuition.
Intuition, yeah, no facts. Zero facts.
Okay, it's intuition. Okay, let us listen to these people. Okay, let's say I want to see this is Samsala. Let's listen to some of them. Some they give us the facts, right?
Okay, so contaminated virtue, an example is contaminated generosity, in which
What do you mean by contaminated generosity?
in which a person who may have already had a realization of emptiness, but in this moment is perceiving the appearance of a duality between a giver and a receiver, is giving.
Okay, would you make it very simple?
So someone is giving.
Someone say the ordinary person who have no realization of emptiness, that person can still be very generous. The generosity of the extremely ordinary person without realization of emptiness. Would you qualify that? Would you call that as contaminated generosity?
Yes.
Yes. Why?
Because there is no direct realization of emptiness.
So why it is contaminated?
It is contaminated with.
It is influenced by. It is contaminated by
Ignorance.
ignorance. Very good. So this is fact. Where if you don't have realization of emptiness, if you don't have realization of the emptiness, then the 24/7 your mind is affected by the perception of things, of the things appearing as objectively real. In the dream, keeping aside the lucid dream, keeping aside the REM sleep, keeping that aside, normally, generally speaking, say in the dream, say if your dream lasts for 1 hour, do you agree with me that in this 1 hour, you have to say, at the back of your mind, you have to believe that whatever I'm seeing, these are all not dream. These are real. You agree? Yes. So that is ignorance or that is wisdom. Ignorance. That is the contamination. That is contamination. That contaminates the dream generosity. In the dream, you act generously, or you display generosity. You give something to somebody, and you empathize with the person. Is that generosity or not? In the dream, you meet with somebody who's poor. You give something, and you talk to the person. You're being so nice. So is that act of is that virtue or not? Yeah, of course, that's virtuous mind. Is virtue. Is that tainted by the ignorance or not? Seeing the dream person is real. You're getting it? So it's tainted by ignorance. This is contaminated virtues. Okay, good. So with this Yanla, contaminated, uncontaminated, mundane, supramundane, you got it? Now our job is match, right? And then put the equation in different forms and throw more questions, right? Not losing the basic definition of these words. Okay, Igor. Here, Igor, here.
Sorry, Geshe, still I have some confusion.
Yes.
So we said that mundane is where something that's related to an individual that is yet to realize, have direct experience of emptiness.
Yes.
And then contamination is where that direct realization of emptiness is not there.
Outside direct experience of emptiness.
Yes.
Anything outside.
Even inferential experience of emptiness.
Including inferential experience of emptiness.
So my question is, an Arya, on the first bhumi, on a meditative equipoise, his mind is supermundane mind. We can speak on this level?
Yes, of course. Say anyone who reaches the path of seeing, the moment you reach the path of seeing, you already entered into the supramundane level.
So, but outside meditation, he doesn't, the appearance still come as deceptive.
Say,
So,
outside of for example, outside of meditation, so let's say that this act of generosity, talking nice to the other person.
So at that
So
moment,
that is, that mind.
That mind is contaminated.
That mind is
and-
contaminated, but
that mind is
supramundane.
also- yeah, that's my question. Is
Supramundane, yes.
supermundane.
So there's overlapping of the supramundane and the uncontaminated, and there is a difference where the supramundane, not not uncontaminated.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Yes.
So I'm sorry, I'm now also getting a little confused because of the explanation of the second seal, all contaminated phenomena are the nature of suffering. So then this would seem to say that this current definition of contaminated would mean that an arhat who is free of true suffering would still have many phenomena in their continuum in the nature of suffering, even though they're not true suffering. So is that correct? Because they have many contaminated components.
Okay, arahats, do they have suffering or not?
Do they have suffering or not? And here arhat. Here arhat has painful feelings of suffering, yes. They have
So that's contaminated.
But this would imply that their feelings of happiness are also contaminated, and so in the nature of suffering too?
Yes.
That are outside of the direct perception.
Of course. Okay, so now, okay, Nico.
Geshe, I just have a small question. An ordinary being who is deeply absorbed in samadhi.
Say it again.
Ordinary being
person.
who is deeply absorbed in samadhi. The afflictions are not manifest; they are dormant. Is that contaminated or uncontaminated?
Okay, say ordinary person, meaning?
Non-Arya.
Okay, non-Arya beings. Non-Arya being sits in meditation on the wisdom of emptiness.
On a single pointed object other than emptiness.
Okay, any virtue. When the virtuous mind is activated, non-virtuous mind, afflictions all subside, which means they remain in dominant state. So these non-virtuous mind, are they contaminated or uncontaminated? Is your question?
Like a person who meditates, deeply meditates.
Okay, let's all listen to this. You know, I would say the particularly people who are already exposed to the Buddhist philosophy, listen to this question, because there is some question there which Nicola, I can sense that he's not too clear himself. Yes, tell me. Say, I'm the ordinary person.
Actually, even an Arya, out of meditative
And I keep it to ordinary being.
Okay.
That's easier.
Yeah. So let's take an ordinary person, a non-Arya being who is sitting in calm abiding meditation.
Yes.
And is deeply absorbed in samadhi, is absorbed in the concentration.
Okay, so let us all listen to this. First, this part.
At that
Pranab, 3 parts. The first part is that ordinary person. First part is ordinary person. Say in a single point of meditation. Okay, everybody understands it? You got it? This is something you can understand it? Good. What's next?
So at that point, the afflictions are dormant. They are not manifest.
Okay, at that point, is he angry? Not angry. Is he attached to things? No attachment. So attachment, aversion, they're not removed. He's an ordinary person. They're not removed, but they're not in a manifest state. This is part 2. What's part 3?
So then part 3 is the question, is that contaminated or uncontaminated?
Which is, this is where the clarity is not coming.
This mind.
This is where which mind?
That mind, it is absorbed in samadhi.
The mind in the samadhi, meditate the samadhi mind.
Yes.
That is contaminated, uncontaminated. This is a question? Okay. So what is that mind? Anyone, according to the definition that we have learned now, just now? Venerable Bitanla. Mike.
I would say it's still contaminated because the person has not had a direct realization of emptiness yet. And so even though it may not be manifest, because it's still dormant in the person's mind stream, I would still consider it contaminated.
Yes. So when Pedro said that she would qualify that as contaminated because that person's here to realize emptiness directly. Yes.
I would say it's contaminated because there's still the appearance of inherent existence.
Say it again.
I would say it's contaminated because there's still the appearance of inherent existence.
Okay. So it is contaminated, still there's the appearance of the inherent existence. Okay. Very good. Thank you. Okay, so it's already 11 o'clock. So the answer is that till one realizes emptiness directly, everything related to you, they are mundane. Everything related to you, they are contaminated. No matter what, realization of samadhi, realization of wisdom of emptiness, no matter what, they're all contaminated, they're all mundane. You getting it? Then why mundane? Why contaminated? Why contaminated? Then explanations come from the Venerable Petula and Venerable Ngawangla, right? So Venerable Petula is saying that as long as you don't have the experience, as long as you don't have the experience that realizes emptiness, all what is related to you, they are contaminated. And then Venerable Ngawangla is saying that any mind with a perception of the intrinsic reality, with appearance of intrinsic reality or objective reality, should necessarily be contaminated. So, many of us here who are new to these concepts, don't worry. I know that there's going to be a little going above your head. I know that, but don't worry. Why I'm saying this is that, in a way, this is the incredibly great opportunity. Why? Because that, in the first place, if you feel awe that, wow, in Buddhism, I do not think that there are some sophisticated thoughts which my mind cannot really grasp. I thought Buddhism is like compassion, right? If you think that there's some very sophisticated thoughts there, right? And whatever the other person says, right, but then the other one says, no, it's wrong, right? They could see what is right, what is wrong. Very sophisticated things are there. If this thought is coming to you, you are very meritorious. So this will make you to not to undermine it, instead to go after this and go deeper. And yet I would say that particularly in the group discussion, it is a very strong request to the people who are already exposed. For example, like the NMC1 participants, those who completed well, I'm very confident that you will be very generous, very, very kind. I know you will really allow the other people, newcomers, to speak, or not to just sideline them. You will never do that. I know that. NMC1 students, I know them so well. Then the others, right? Say the young sibling, and then the teenagers, and the young adults, and the parents. So the teenagers, right, they have a hot blood, right? They will say, you're wrong. No, it doesn't make any sense. So teenagers, be careful. Teenagers, be careful. Don't let the toddlers feel demoralized and leave. They be traumatized. Later on, Buddhist philosophy, instantly the teenager's face come, right? Who said that, no, it doesn't make any sense, right? Okay, it doesn't make any sense. What is your next question? Don't do that. Teenagers, be careful. Teenagers mean you are not a fully evolved adult. Adult will not do like this. You're getting, particularly those who have already learned something. Be compassionate. Be sensible, be compassionate. And in fact, perhaps you have a lot to learn from the toddlers. You have a lot to learn from the toddlers. Because some of the toddlers, they may not be able to articulate, but the thoughts they're coming up with is coming from their previous lives. They don't have a proper packaging. But what they convey is a solid gold without packaging, right? And you want a package, proper packaged, right? So therefore, you don't know there's a gold. So the point is, be kind, and don't say whatever you have, just vomit them, and then the newcomers, they feel demoralized. Please, take utmost care. At least feel that compassion till the day 4 or day 5. And the last 2 days, feel free, you vomit. It's fine. Right? Feel free, you vomit. And some of the toddlers, they mature so fast. They miss your mistakes right then and then. You getting it? Okay. So this is my request to you. So yeah. Teyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhisattva Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhisattva Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhisattva. Are you through prostrations? Say it again.
Oh, it's okay. You have off the mic. I just say that I'm an announcement.
Whenever you want to make any announcement, make sure that Kumar is informed about this.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what's going on. Yeah. Okay. What kind of announcement? Washing hands in the basin. Okay. There are people washing hands in the basin, so they want to stop so that they don't put things into the basin. Washing. Okay. So to stop that, is that the basin and luminance? Okay. Those things. Okay.
Om Muni Muni Maha Muniye Swaha. 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 Om Muni Muni Maha Muniye Swaha.